Karibuni, welcome to Elimishwe kwa masuala ya jamii. Tuchunguze sana mbalimbali, tujuze juu ya matukio ya kila pembe, kwa burudani kwa familia nzima.
Good evening, my name is Likuyani Eli. It is Friday and we are here for the Friday edition of The Perspective. If this is your first time joining us, you know what to do. Hit the subscription button and be part of the Art in Heart family. That is the Arts in Heart on Facebook, the Arts in Heart official on YouTube, the Arts in Heart on Instagram, and always drop us a mail if you want to be part of the conversation. For tonight, I have with me Godwin Segero. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening, Eli. I'm fine. Been a busy day and a sad day at the same time as a country.
That's very true. No wonder you are seated very low. I can hardly see your face, but it's okay. It is a sad day. It is indeed a sad day for the Kenyan community at large after we lost our former president, Stanley Emilio Mwai Kibaki. May his soul rest in peace. And Godwin, I don't know, where did this news find you?
Actually, I was commuting, I was in a matatu, and then I saw someone's status on WhatsApp, and I saw the picture of the former president. Mm-hmm. And the first thing that came to my mind, this guy has been trending in the recent past, and whenever I saw him trending on #1 on Twitter, I would be like, that thing has happened. And then you find people talking about their own things. But when I saw it on WhatsApp status, I knew today is that day.
Indeed. And of course, we want to extend our condolences to the family, friends, and the Kenyans, and of course, the citizens of the world at large as we mourn the fallen former president, Mwai Kibaki. I mean, remembering Kibaki, for those who know, he came into power in the month of, that was December 30th, if I'm not wrong, in 2002. And that was such an amazing moment for the Kenyan political field. Many will remember that it is Kibaki that was sworn in as president with one leg that was not supposed to be, he had an accident rather, and this was history. I don't know, Godi, if you remember this event.
I remember, and you see, if you want to know the kind of person Kibaki was, remember during that period, he spent most of the time in the hospital because he got his accident while campaigning. So it's the lieutenants, the other political teammates that were campaigning for him, and eventually he managed to clean the seat. And that tells you how much people wanted change at that moment. Mm-hmm. That it didn't matter whether he was around or not. The thing is, change had to come.
Change had to come, and that's so the then competent who was the chosen one, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, who is now the current president, actually, lose to him. And we had the brigade of Raila Amolo Odinga, who is now running as president, forming the government, which didn't last for too long. There came issues after issues after issues. But that is history that we cannot fail to forget. And I see Wanjiku Kagwe. Thank you so much, Wanjiku, for coming on set tonight. She says, may his soul rest in peace. Indeed. And Salama Baba Kibaki. Let's switch again and focus on the events that happened during this week and the time we were away as we were having Easter. Godwin, I'm told there is one Mekantilili Wamenza, the Mombasa, the new one, or is it a descendant?
So she's Mekantilili Menza the second, because I've not seen anyone else claim to be one. So she's by default the second.
Yeah.
And that brings me to this question. And at times, like just as a country, are we ever serious?
When
You
you
know,
say serious, I mean I'm a serious guy.
you're a serious
Last
guy,
time I
but as
checked.
you as a person, you're serious. But we as a country, are we ever serious? That's the question.
Well, that's a question we'll be asking most of you who are watching. And we are asking as a country, are we serious? Because these are some of the questions that are forming or formulating our conversations tonight. And we are using the hashtag Art in Heart. If you're following us on Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram, we are using the hashtag Art in Heart. So, why are we not serious, Godwin?
Because it's only in Kenya where someone who has graft charges uh, against him or her can be suspended. And mind you, these graft charges are because of mismanagement of public funds. And then you suspend the hearing
Yeah.
to allow that person seek for a higher office to access more public funds for you to continue hearing their case. Who does that?
Well, Kenya does that because I'm told the courts allowed Mekantilili, aka Aisha Jumwa, if you are not aware, to continue with her campaign period, her campaign time, so that she doesn't get unfair competition from other political wigs looking to
So,
become governors of the Kilifi County.
so Eli, it's good to be unfair to Kenyans, but not to our opponents, right? Because in essence, that's what it means. Because like literally, the court suspended Chapter 6 of the Constitution, you know, which deals with the integrity of the people we're electing into offices,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it clearly says that if you have any integrity issues that you're facing, whether it's a corruption case or something, even if it's not, if you're not convicted or if it's not yet determined whether it's true or not, as long as the allegations are there, you are not supposed to be clear to vie. But when a court comes, looks at the case and they're like, this person needs some time to campaign, so let's give her time. We'll resume after she's assumed office. And you see the reason why people seek these offices is not just to help to develop or help the citizens, is to safeguard their own self-interest, and that's where power comes in. So once the person is in power, they'll be a sitting governor, and it's not easy to just remove a sitting governor from office. So by the time that case will be dragged for the next 5 years. Again, by the time we're hearing about it again, she'll be campaigning to seeking for a second term in office. Again, we
Maybe
give her
become
another
president. Maybe become president. Because I was told we are a very interesting country. And of course, we have an interesting system. And it is a shambolic way of doing things, remembering that the now fallen President Mwai Kibaki foresaw the birth of the now 2010 Kenyan Constitution that most of us who are going into campaign and have it revoked and have a new one coming in the name of building bridges. But if you thought that was funny, how funny is Michael Sonko resurfacing from the dead to run as a wiper candidate for the Mombasa County government gubernatorial seat?
It's the same problem I'm talking about here, the same disease. The same Mike Sonko was facing graft issues in Nairobi. So now I don't know if he's a different Sonko when he goes to Mombasa. He'll be a clean one because apparently he couldn't run Nairobi because of corruption issues. So we're just moving. Okay, the allegations, right? But we're just recycling the same people. And see, that's why we usually say in Kenya, people say, hata ka ni mwizi wetu, So we vote in people because they are our people, not because of the principles or what they can deliver. The same happened with the other former governor of Kiambu, Ferdinand Waititu, who had the same allegations, but he's back on the political scene, and you're like they never left. Like, how? Jesus Christ.
Yes, Godwin, I understand you. This is a crazy country to be in for the moment. But if you thought crazy was crazy, our main event tonight, we are discussing the con nature of our society. It is normal to get conned. If you haven't been conned, they tell you, especially in Nairobi, wewe haujaishi. And we'll be asking you during this conversation, have you ever been duped in any kind of business as a Kenyan? Especially if you're buying or selling products. What is your experience? We'll be sharing more of that. But to give us a backdrop, Godwin, it is too early to point fingers at Kenyans. Well, I mean normal Kenyans. Kenyans who do not hold any political offices. Kenyans who do not hold any, oath sworn in offices. These kind of Kenyans that do their businesses like Mama Mboga, they would say. But I'm told there are different cartels. They start with caretakers, but they upgrade as time goes. Anakufungia maji, anakuletea maji ya kisima and tells you you have to pay the equivalent amount for water being distributed by the Nairobi water, what do you call it? The Nairobi Water and Sewerage Company. Yeah, so you're told, maji, you have to pay this price, and yet this is not water coming from the Nairobi waters. Alternatively, these Kenyans are the very Kenyans that will call you and tell you, niko hapa kwa jam na kam. Clearly, when they tell you that, you are just about to get stood until evening, but they will blame it on traffic because Nairobi has traffic. Godwin, have you ever bought something online? And what has been your experience? I'll be finding out. But for now, let me take you back to where it all begins. Have you heard about the NEMIS? Is it NEMIS or NIMS? Where you get to subscribe or inscribe students, and then they know which student went to what school and what class they are in. That's where apparently the problem is starting. Did you know that it has been reported that some schools or some head teachers collude to fake existing number of students in order to get more capital financing from government and the ministry?
And that's what happens here. You see, I think Kenya has reached a point where we no longer, you see, like, we don't talk anything against corruption or anything. Mm-hmm. All of us are just waiting for our time to eat, and that's it. Mm-hmm. So whenever you get the slightest opportunity that you can access public funds, you do everything possible, because if you don't, the person coming after you will do that. So you have to take yours as you go. If the other person will find nothing, well and good. If they find something, then that's it. So
you start at school and then talk about mega corruption. And Godwin, you'll help me understand this. Is it not interesting that every government of the day creates opportunity for its people? And when I talk about people, I'm talking about those in office, to actually steal. Do you remember anything about Huduma number?
I remember.
Was it a good cause?
Actually, I have the card, but...
you have Huduma card? I need to know what you're doing with it. Is it the card or the waiting card? And if you have Huduma number, please tell us how that Huduma number has been helping you. But back to you, Gordon, yes?
I got mine with the first lot just after the president. After the president got his, I was in the next lot. So I'm among the first few Kenyans. Actually, the first 50,000 Kenyans, I'm among them. So I know you don't have yours.
What data were they capturing? Because I remember they were making everybody rush. What data were they capturing?
How many cows you have? How many boats? So you wonder, you're living in Nairobi if you have a boat.
Where there are floods in Nairobi, especially in Kileleshwa, Nairobi West.
Actually, Nairobi is flooded with sewage because when actually, like right now, it's raining. Mm-hmm. The roads are impassable. Like you can't even find somewhere to pass. And you see, if you're forced to step in the dirty waters, which is mixed rainwater and sewage,
sewage, yeah.
we're just surviving. Actually, in Kenya, it's only God that knows how we're surviving, because if you had to look about our health, I think most of us will be dead by now.
So tell me about your Huduma card. Because this is where I want us to start, to see just how it has become normal. Because government, and you correct me if I'm wrong, I believe our governments have coherently created opportunities for its people to be corrupt.
Exactly.
And I want us to start with that Huduma number thing. That's where I want us to begin.
Because Huduma number was meant to replace the national ID and everything, anything that you need to produce, so that whenever you're going to seek any service anywhere, the only thing you need is your Huduma card. But mind you, until now, people are still registering for IDs. So you wonder, and this Huduma this Huduma card was supposed to be effective. I think was it last year, December, but till now.
Was it last year? I don't think so. But time is going so fast. Huduma came, and then when Corona, so some of us have lost track of time.
Eli, I think in Kenya, the government or whatever institutions that are there, they usually look for an opportunity for Kenyans to queue. We had people queuing for Huduma number. We had people queuing for vaccines. We had people queuing for Kazi Mtaani. Recently, you saw people queuing for re-registration of SIM cards, which the information is with the telecom companies. Now we're waiting to queue again for elections. So it's a queuing nation.
And I see Shish Winnie there asking for the link. Shish, that is The Arts in Heart official. It's simple. The Arts as one word. The Arts in Heart official, and that is on YouTube. Okay, patapata hapo, and Princess Ola, you can share that on the Facebook channel or Facebook platform that we are on right now as you speak. So yes, Godwin, why I started with that issue, it's because recently we had an issue of registering new SIM cards. And government seem to be talking from both sides of the mouth, or both ends of the mouth. One side, they are telling us, which is being represented by Chilobe, we talked about it recently, giving us ultimatums. And one of the effective things that Huduma card was to do was to combat that. But as we speak, a lot of Kenyans are still getting conned with people from committee who I think they have Huduma numbers.
These guys that call you and tell you that they just landed from UK, they need assistance, there's a business they want to register and all that. There's these guys in committee that were trending the other day who conned people almost the first time it was around 17 million, the next time 10 million. So you can imagine someone in committee conning Kenyans such amounts. Now, what about those in offices? And you see, Eli, talking of which, this conning and stuff has been devolved. When devolution came, also corruption was being devolved.
That goes without saying.
And those you've seen, many counties, they initiated mega projects that were not practical, pumped in a lot of money that has never been seen. So people get tenders, they don't deliver. Now another, like you see, like mostly for those governors who've served the second terms.
Yeah.
Now we're having fresh governors coming in. Mind you, they are not going to continue with any of those projects. They're going to start their own projects now for their own people now to eat, not to continue with a project that was eaten by someone else. So you'll see these governors now coming up with new projects, yet there are other projects that have stalled. And remember, that is Kenyan money, taxpayers' money.
Don't you try con me, government, because I'm looking at you. Godwin.
Yes.
I asked you earlier on if you've ever been scammed. And I know this is a story that most of you might be, PV2 or not, but getting conned in Kenya is a basic need. Did I just say that? It's, it's a basic practice, getting conned. And which way? There's been an improvement on how people are doing business. And thanks to internet, a lot of us have become e-commerce based. We do not own physical shops. We just own a few WhatsApp contacts. And once we do that, we have, I see somebody like Winnie Mugambi, karibu sana Winnie, karibu sana. Umepotea sana, lakini naona umefika, karibu. I see people that have different WhatsApp lines, and every minute we are updating. I know I'm actually I'm one of those people that update about things that are happening, and I want you guys to get to keep updates, to know, hey, this is what we are doing this week. We are discussing that. Now, system ni ya Majambazi is what we're talking about. And that's how we are selling our products. You have a new, uko na kamera, unawekelea hapo, jamaa anachukua. Norin, uko wapi? Ninajua uko na vitu zako kalikali. Una put status. Somebody takes it over. But how safe is this safe space that is supposed to be selling products to us? Godi ushaibiwa online?
Yep.
Uliibiwa nini?
Kwanza these online shops, there's a time, whatever they advertise with whatever that is delivered, totally different things. There's a watch I saw, like ukiangalia, and I was like, this is the watch I've been looking for, with the crazy offer in
How
town.
much was the price, maybe?
The price, walikuwa was I think 2K, and I knew the price of that watch should be around 5K. Kasema this is the
Kasema umeangukia.
December imekuja January. Ha!
Kwa nini kesho?
Delivery in 3 days. 5 days later. Maze, watch ilikuja imerapiwa in a polythene cover. You'd expect such a watch to come with in a box. Unajua, even covered with 3 or 4 boxes. You have to unwrap, Bro, just trying to fit it, the strap already ilikuwa shakatika.
Yeah.
But now the problem is, who do you call?
That's the thing, because that's the problem. And let me tell you a very short story. Over the past few months or so, I've been trying to buy stuff here and there. I mean, stuff that I want to use for my work, of course. But what I find interesting is, if I order a product that I find I am not able to use because probably I changed my taste or I changed my need, I can always return this product. But a lot of Kenyans, when they order their stuff from their online vendors, because it's now easier to buy things online than going for shopping, most of them end in tears. I remember a story not 2 or so years back. There was this shop in Westlands. They were selling electronics, all house appliances. Sasa watu walikuwa wanatuma pesa, they are ordering TV, fridges, cooker, unaambiwa, tumewekelea order yako. You have to order, we distribute our things end of the week. I mean, if it's saving you the convenience, wait 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 months, 4 months. Kutoka Westlands mpaka Nyayo inatukua 6 months. Kwani wana import na ndege ama ni meli?
I think, and then these guys, they've devised another method. When they're advertising stuff on those platforms, if you notice, mostly these electronic gadgets and stuff, they'll always indicate shipped from abroad. So once you hear it's shipped from abroad, the matter is like, if it's being shipped from abroad, then this thing is legit. Bro.
This is legit.
Shipped from abroad, River Road.
Abroad, nile wamekata hii yote mbele, River Road imekatwa ikabaka tena hapo road.
So kuna Indian Ocean between Luthuli Avenue and River Road. So that is abroad. You cross the other side, you're abroad.
Have you ever been conned as a Kenyan? Let's listen to this lady's story.
Hi, my name is Shirley, and this is my story of how I got conned one day. So there's this day I had an exam, and I'm on my way to campus. And just before I entered the school gate, I meet this guy who tells me, hi. I'm like, hi too. Are you going to school? I'm like, yes, I'm going to school. And then he asked me, mbona unaenda mapema hivi? And I'm like, I have an exam, so I'm just going to get familiar with the exam room temperature, and my friends, just getting a recap of how the semester went. And then he tells me, okay, today is my birthday, why don't we just go get an ice cream? Like, it was a few meters ahead. So I'm like, okay, that's fine, because the exam was to begin at 6 p.m. and it was around, I think 2 or 3 p.m. And I'm like, okay, fine, let's go. So we walk, and then it didn't even hit me, like we've passed like more than even 100 meters and we're not getting to the ice cream shop or wherever we were going. So this guy keeps telling me how he doesn't take what belongs to his, how he's very generous. He even tells me a story how one day he was in a matatu and someone left the phone. And what he did, he stayed with the phone, and the next day someone called and he's like, oh, Flani ako wapi? And then he picks and says, mi ni mtu Flani, I picked this phone kwa matatu. And he asked that person to tell the owner's phone to come and get it. So I'm like, okay, so this is who you are, blah, 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 and such stuff. So the story goes on, and we walk all the way up to like downtown. We are out of the CBD. And then the guy tells me, you know what, my phone has run out of battery. Why don't you assist me with your phone so that I can go and do mobile banking? And by then, I had a card, but I didn't initiate mobile banking. So I didn't know, for you to do mobile banking, you needed to have your phone and your number in the phone registered to your card and the mobile banking, you understand? So this guy asked for me for my phone, and I handed it over to him. And something funny, my phone was locked. So what I did, I just called him back. I told him, excuse me, rudi kidogo, iko locked, niko unlockie simu so that you can go and initiate the mobile banking. So I gave this guy my phone, and there was like a road in between, and then there was a bank on the other side, Equity Bank. So once this guy crossed the road, and now I couldn't see him anymore, and then it hits my mind, and I'm like, who was I talking to? Like, how have I ended up reaching this point? I have an exam. Like, who is that person? And then it hits me like, my phone is just gone like that. So I had these small phones, the kadudas, also called katululu. So
Katululu.
I called my other number, my Safaricom number. In that kaduda, I had my telecom number. So I tried calling my Safaricom number, and it was not like even 5 minutes ago. It was like 2 minutes. So on calling, the phone is off. So that is when it hit me. I had been conned. That guy went with my phone, and that is how my phone went.
Chwai. Pole. Godi. Kadululu kaliibwa.
Karibu
Lakini
Kanairo.
huyu alicross, umesikia barabara tofauti ya barabara vile alicross, alikuwa amecross ocean na kabaki na road. But guys, you think these things are jokes, but they are not. In Kenya, you get your deliveries after 2 months and so on, and you are lucky to actually get them. Karibu sana Shish Winnie, I believe that is it. And River Road, yes, River Road is you abroad. We have Edwin Matasio who says, I rather buy what I see with my eyes than so-called online shopping. Utabai hewa. It happens. It happens. Winnie Mugambi, if you have never been conned by pyramid scheme, guys, you are lucky. Otherwise, I was a character developed 8800. 7 years later, my dad asked me about the online business that I started when I was in campus. I'm sorry, Winnie. Pole sana for starting a new business without your knowledge. And that's how the things go. And I have here Muheshimi Wasila Buyema says, Niaje, poa sana baba. How are you doing? MCA incoming. Isuha. Karibu sana. So, Godwin, these are the stories that happen every single day. My question is, ni nini mbaya? Is it that Kenyans have appetite for conning, or it is our DNA? Is it a DNA?
No, it's not in our DNA. It's something that has been made because Kenyans are surviving. Everyone wants to survive. You see? So it doesn't matter how here now the end justifies the mean. Because you cannot sit in your house, you have no food, there's no job, you have no business, yet you have a brain to think. Just think, whoever that will fall into the trap. I don't know if you've heard. There's a clip, an audio that was going around some times back. These committee guys, so he called someone. Unajua nini, mimi ni mtu wa Safaricom nakupigia. So the guy on the other end just listening and laughs. Akaambia kama tafadhali acha kunikona, ende tafuta watu wengine. And you see.
But guys, okay, meanwhile, Gordon, excuse me. Guys, share your stories in the timeline so that we can actually be able to share with everyone that is watching. Because we are trying to understand, mbona ni system ya Majambazi, ama that's how we are as Kenyans. What is the problem? Why are Kenyans so used to conning that it becomes a normal thing when you tell somebody, umeibiwa? Yes. Go ahead, Gordon.
So you see, the guy laughs, and the one who was telling him that I see him to a Safaricom, he laughs and he's like, "Hey, when him janja, acha nitafute wajinga wengine, So you see, and they laugh because he knows. You get, and it's something that happens. The other day I was in a matatu and with some friends, and they're like, nowadays even Nigerians in Kenya fear Kenyans. Nigerians try to con Kenyans, they end up being conned.
But why do people get easily conned? And I want us to start from the online aspect before we go to the normal way. To me, what I feel is the reason is we are desperately looking for good deals. Bro, the other day I saw an ad, and this is no pun intended, but this is just me being cautious. And you can throw stones at me for trying to speak against some stuff, but it is what it is. The other day I saw an advert where a plot was being advertised for 50K. A plot that is 50 by 100. And this deal was they will either pay for you ndege ya kuenda kuona, because it is in Malindi, uende uone na urudi. Ama kama unataka kula sherehe na marafiki, you go with the train. SGR is there. You have to choose. 50K. Bro, I spent, karibu niseme how I spent 50K, but ni sawa. Point is, 50K. How do you buy a plot for 50K, Godwin?
When the deal is too good, think twice. And that's why you see there's some things even with these online platforms. Yes, you see, as a matter of fact, by virtue of us being human beings and by extension Kenyans, we like cheap things because of the current situation. So if you can save something to get whatever you want, then you'll go for it. But there are some sites you look at them, you look at the data and you're like, as much as I want this is too cheap. I'm not going to buy this. Because it's too good to be true. And then me, I'm always skeptical. If I'm buying anything and doesn't have a cash on delivery,
you rather not.
Because how are you going to trace? How are you going to claim that money in case the good is not delivered? And you see, it's a very delicate line to balance area, because on the other hand, we have genuine vendors who are taking advantage of the online platforms and the e-commerce. You understand? So it's a delicate balance, because this guy is skeptical to send their goods first because they're not sure if you're going to pay. And on the other hand, you don't want to pay fast because you're not sure if the good is going to be delivered. So it's a very delicate balance. Where do we agree? Because assume,
go ahead.
Because assume I'm the vendor. You tell me I'm at point A, B, C, D. please deliver this product. I'm going to pay you on delivery because I can't pay for something that I've not seen. So you are the vendor. You're like, that's okay because I want to sell anyway. So you are in CBD and you have to send the product maybe along Mombasa or somewhere. So you get your rider, you send them. Upon reaching, this guy is nowhere to be seen. He's not picking calls. So you'll have to pay the rider anyway. So what the rider will do, Nimefika, the guy was not there. He was not picking the phone. So you have your product back. Pay me my dues. So this guy, if he does that 5 times in a week, how many losses is he making?
Let me tell you a story as you guys digest that. I have a brother of mine that was very, very impatient to own his own first handset. That is back in 2006, 7, thereabout. This guy wanted to own a mobile phone, a smart mobile phone. And we told him it's not that easy because then they were still quite expensive. You couldn't get a smartphone in VV unless zile Ericsson zenye zilikuwa na ringtones mingi zinaiba kama radio, those kind of Ericsson, Sony Ericssons. So this guy met a good deal on the streets. Even though alikuwa anafanya simu akamuza pesa ngapi? 3,000. The guy was like, hey, simu 3,000. 3,000. I don't know if you guys remember, there is a time that HTC was coming into the market. HTC, those kind of phones. They were very rare. So the guy bought the phone. Akaambia hapana, hapa nakuwaga very insecure, enda ufungulie mbele. Jamaa alifungua simu, alipata ni matope na plastic imeshikanishwa. Unaonyeshwa simu, unauziwa matope. And you guys might think this is a joke. There's one guy, a very senior civil servant, somewhere in my village. He also wanted to own a mobile phone. Kwa sababu vijana wako na mobile phone. Chief anataka kuwa na mobile phone. Akaenda Nairobi. Akashuka wapi? Country bus. Akakutana na Njoro. Njoro akamuuzia simu. Akasema hii simu afungulie Nairobi. Atafungulia wapi? Nyumbani. So guy, a whole chief, I'm telling a true life story. He arrives in the village from Nairobi. He asks for the technical savvy guys who are in the area. Wakuja wamfanyie nini? Wamuinstollie simu yake because anamwambia hii simu inahitaji installation. Kama hujui, enda utafute mtu anajua because hapa hatuwezi fanya hivyo. Did you know alikuwa amenunua simu gani? What's your guess, Godwin? Samsung?
Ama iPhone.
Kwani alikuwa anasangia nani? Samsung was not singing. Jamaa alikuwa amenunua Samsung, yes, lakini unakumbuka tule tudoli tunyokuwa na vinya
Samsung alinunua Samsung
30,000.
Kenya.
So people will exploit your gullibility and of course the fact that they see you are in haste to acquire something. And that's how a lot of people actually wamebiwa mpaka pesa ya kununua mashamba. But then again, it is Kenya. That's Kenya for you. Godwin.
Speaking of which story ya mashamba Eli, there's a friend of mine who was telling me how people collude at the land registry to get people's properties. You understand? Yeah. Because you see, in Kenya, we have there are 2 types of titles for a property. You understand? We have the freehold and the leasehold. And if you're having a leasehold, there's a timeline. It was reduced. Now it's 99 years old. 99 years for leasehold. So there are people who sit at the land registry because they know for a lease that is going to expire right now, maybe that's maybe from the first or second generation, even if around the second generation, these people don't even remember when this land is supposed to be renewed. And you see, there's always that timeline where you're supposed to renew the lease. You get? So these guys are always waiting around the clock. So if the lease is expiring today, tomorrow they've transferred the land to someone else's name. So let's say I'm at the land registry. Eli, you're my friend. Tomorrow what I'm going to do, I'll tell you, Eli, I'm going to transfer this property to your name. It's a prime area. Once I transfer to you, you're going to facilitate how you're going to sell the property. Give me my card, you take yours. You get? So you'll be living, there's someone who is living at their place. They've been there for that has been their traditional home for the last 99 years. Because they inherit from the first generation to the second to the third. And then the next day, you see people coming fencing your property, like, what's not happening? And they're like,
that's the time I know Akina Kagwe, Majiko, I see she's saying, saddest experience ever buying phones from hawkers. Story of my life. That's okay. But I know when this fencing is happening, that's the time like kina Wajiko kaza, mimi nilikuwa manaishi kwa hii shamba miaka gapi?
Babu yangu alinipatia, baba yangu akakuja, baba yangu ameishi hapa.
Marifuga hapa ng'ombe yangu. Marikuwa hapa Maria Saba, Maritahiri hapa. 99 years.
Unaenda huko and 99 years. Because when you go to check, if you try to follow up, you'll go to the registry and the title reads it belongs to Eli. What are you going to do? Because after 99 years, the land automatically reverts to the state. But now since these guys know, immediately it expires, they transfer. So it's like now you are the one who acquired the new lease. So what do you do?
And that is sad because I know this system exists in various countries, but an honorable country, they will always trace back, the legitimate owners because you're paying rates for this plot. It's not like it just exists for nothing. You're paying land rates, you're paying, here we call it the cadastral income and all that. And therefore, it cannot just go without a trace. So it is then the duty of the then government or the ministry in charge to actually conduct its due diligence and contact you and inform you that Buddha, unajua lease inaisha. Sasa tunachezaje hii kitu? But what do? They do it because ni system ya Majambazi. After all, Kenya, the corn nation, does its best. Nimeona hapa Zena Hussein, karibu sana Zena, hujambo, habari za inaitwa nini? Wanafanya nini hao? They are fasting. I hope fasting is taking care of you well. Afadhali chief
Kiswahili si mdomo chako, achana
bwana. Ndugu, Kiswahili kimenikwenda. Afadhali chief auziwe toy, wengine uuziwa simu, wakifika pale kwa kona wanapata ni sabuni ya Lido imefanyiwa housing ya nguvu. Yes, na ilikuwa ni
sabuni ya pande imepangwa.
Ni ukweli Wanjiku, hapa ni kubaya. So Godwin, I want to give you another example of things that are bothering me about this corn nation and try figure out what is the best way out. I don't know if you guys have had issues to do with looking for a job. Wait after job, Godwin.
Don't remind me because I'll start crying. It's unfortunate. Austin, he'll have cried on my behalf.
Austin, unfortunately, is not in tonight, but those guys that are watching, I know you've had chance to look for a job. Like, umetafuta kazi miaka hiyo, haupati, umezogoka Nairobi. Mame shapo kaza kujiuliza, kwani shagazi aliniroga? Finally,
na niko na makaratasi.
Kuna advert nzuri sana imetokea kwa gazeti huku chini, wanaitaga nini hizo? Classifieds.
Classified, yeah.
Get your job now or miss out. Recruitment tarehe 26. Imewekwa tarehe 23 hiyo advert. Unanielewa? Wamelipia siku ngapi? 3. Kila siku ni siku 2 mbili. Hizo ni 6. These jamas do their homework very well. So, and the jobs they are asking you people to come for are jobs that are almost requiring you to have almost no qualification. So what will Kenyans do? Because they are desperate, they need a new job. Jamaz, recruitment inafanyika wapi? Westlands. Unaishi wapi? The other side of the city. Pipeline, for example. Unaishi Pipeline. So you come out, sorry guys, I'm having some irritation on my eye, so don't mind me. Mind the story. Tukaendelea, jamaa, they apply for the job and then they go to Westlands. Wakifika Westlands, Godi, story ni yako.
Bro, that was my story. Somewhere around 2020.
2020, year of the Lord.
After COVID just checked in.
COVID-19.
Lost my former job.
And you were jobless.
Baba is jobless.
Mama don't want to see you, Papa, with no nothing.
Bro, caretaker doesn't know if you lost your job.
All of a sudden, caretaker is feeling too expensive for you.
Where? Then miracles exist. Miracles still do happen.
Of course, our God is a God of Abraham.
Manna from heaven falls. A friend calls me. You know what?
Yes,
I've been
boy.
struggling, and God has talked to me.
Yes, brother.
I'm here to bless you.
What is the news, brother?
There's a job somewhere. People are recruiting.
Job?
Because on my end, I know I have unpaid bills and I need to pay. That's good news. Bro, I don't have to know.
Praise the Lord. You have to say hallelujah. That's the point to say, praise the Lord.
I don't know what kind of job it is. The first question is, how much are they paying?
Bro, don't worry about the price because I've been told it is a good deal. What you have to do, we need to be there. But,
bro, this is an urgent thing because there are limited slots. What you do, call this guy right now.
Okay. Piga simu, brother. Piga simu.
First, my phone credit balance 0.
Tufulize.
Who is Okoa Jazi? At least 20 will do me well. There you go. Hey, hi, niaje Kopa, nimepewa namba yako na so and so. Mkwambia je niambia kuna je exactly. Actually, interview ni kesho.
Kesho?
Interview ni kesho and we are talking that evening. That was around saa 8.
Interview ni kesho saa 8?
Interview ni kesho saa 3 na tunaongea naye leo saa 8. So you see, I have 2 hours in between. So the guy asked me, where do you stay? At first, what are your names? ID number? Where do you stay? I said at point ABCD. So interview complex planning. So before that, let me enter your name in the system. I sent the registration number that you'll produce during the interview. My friend, this guy is happy. God has.
I know the song you were singing in that moment. Miaka yangu ililishwa na nzige. So boy, following morning saa 1 ndio usichelewe, saa 12 umeoga.
See how good this guy was. So he calls me and he tells me, let me enter your names in the system first, then I call you back. You know, I said, that's fine. I'm just eagerly waiting to see the call. I'm waiting. Amepotea tena na hii kazi.
Na sisahau bana. Nyanyangu ameniombea jana bana. The God that you're praying has answered our prayer.
15 minutes later, this guy calls. Uko na karatasi na kalamu? Nataka kuandika hii registration number. Papa, sina lakini I had to look for it immediately. Sawa. Alafu unajua kuna venye anaweka pake na kaje, it's a legit thing. Nikajua kusha mimi kazi nimepata.
Kenya unaitiwa kazi. Unaitiwa kazi. Kenya ukiitiwa kazi, unless wewe ni Polycarp Igathe ama nani?
Polycarp Igathe.
Unaibiwa.
The only person who serves a true God in Kenya.
You have been called for a job in Kenya. Continue.
So the guy goes, alafu anambia, now the next thing you'll have to get your measurements because uniforms have to be prepared from the measurements have to be sent to EPZ for the uniforms. And they'll be picking, where do you stay? What is the nearest stage? This one. And I'm like, hey, sasa paka mnanichukua to and fro. So you guys are generous.
Wait. Kenya unapigiwa simu kuitiwa kazi ya 5,000 lakini unakujiwa na gari. Transport provided.
Bro, and I was like, this is the day the Lord has made.
I will rejoice and be glad in him.
So the next thing, ananiambia, now, another thing, now the only thing you have to do, there's a medical yenye inafanywa kesho, and people are paying 2,000, you know. So, and hiyo ni inafungwa kesho because nisha register jina yako, you'll have to pay, so that by the time unakuja asubuhi, mnaingia tu medical kama mmefanya nini, mmeingia interview. Sina pesa, but I think Safaricom will introduce something called Fuliza, so I don't think anaweza ninyima.
Hawezi ninyima kitu kama hiyo. Kitu kidogo kama hiyo.
Kwani 2,000 ni kitu ya kunyima mtu surely?
Surely. M-Pesa?
Mimi ni nani? Safaricom, Fuliza, Kamau Njoroge, pokea pesa.
It's said to be Kamau. Aki. Wanjiku, ndugu zako wametudalalisha.
Kamau Njoroge anapata pesa received. Next. Akaniambia, now nimepata pesa, what you do, go get the measurements. The guy is still good.
Measurements for what? What are they measuring? Unaingia jeshi?
Uniform. Napeleka measurement, nafaa nipewe uniform ya kazi. In the first place, remember?
Kazi gani?
Sijauliza ni kazi gani? Sijauliza ni qualification, sijaulizwa any CV, nothing.
Pre-qualifications.
Sijatuma CV, sijatuma anything, lakini naenda kuchukua measurements za nini?
You serve a mighty God.
Now, when I'm almost at the tailor's shop, ndio nani hit. Na by the way, hata naenda kuchukua uniform hii ya kazi gani by the way? Like,
usijali, we pima.
I'm like, let me call my friend nimuulize. Because I was sure maybe pia alikuwa anaenda because it's urgent. So he didn't give me time kumuuliza maswali. So I call him, niaje bro? By the way, huyu jamaa nimeongea naye, ameniambia hata nende nichukue ni measurements, nilikuwa nimeshatumia the medical, akaniambia, "Oh shit, umeshamtumia pesa?" Unajua nilikuwa napatia nani pia.
Wait. Huyu jamaa anakuambia ni moyo kuitia kazi eti umetuma pesa.
Umeshatuma pesa and I'm like, "But bro, si ndio umenipatia namba, kwani namba ulitoa wapi?" Do you know what he tells me?
Yeah. Iko chini.
Nilikuwa nimekaa tu kwa ofisi, huyu jamaa mpiga kwa nini? Kwa simu ya ofisi, akaniambia ana offer job. I'm like, what the
Hapo ndio Matasi anasema excuse my language.
Bro. Mimi sana muuliza all this time ulinipatia namba ya mstranger mwenye nilikuwa hata si kwa namba yako, kwa namba ya ofisi.
Well, in short, ulipata kazi? Ama ndio sababu
nilala jaji, nilifuliza kila kitu.
No job, no money, everything lost, and now in debt.
I owe Safaricom 2,000.
Nimechoka na wewe. The most important thing you have to do if you are doing any transactions online is to stay awoke. That is the word. I remember my parents paying 60,000 Kenyan shillings for me to join the army. And on top of that, we all got fake passports. 120K gone. Like that. Mungu akuone.
Karibu Kenya.
Zena Hussein says, kuna time nili apply job Nairobi. Nikaitwa. What? Acha nifurahie. Kufika pale secretary anataka 50K kwanza. Yule jamaa anataka nimpeleke Jerusalem akagoe matunda. Huo ulikuwa mwisho wa kutafuta kazi Kenya.
And then Eli, the
sad thing mjinga, ni ujinga, lakini ni matasi. Hii si kuwa mjinga, hii ni kuoshwa bana. That's what Kenyans do for a living.
I knew Matasi would say that. Who is Matasi anyway?
He's an African man.
So earlier I was telling you, see, and just before I was conned, the previous week, I'd helped someone who was about to be conned. Nikambia, don't do that. These people are cons. A week later, mimi ndio nakonia, and I'm like, kwani tu lazima munge revenge on me? Who does that?
Mbona. Kila mtu Kenya ni mwizi. Vile tu kila mtu ana style yake. All said and done, kuna vitu tatu we can do to be secure when you're doing transactions. And we cannot always rule out that you might be in danger of getting conned. But one thing you have to do, if a deal is too good, especially online, unajua hii kitu haiko less than 2,000, wewe umeuziwa na shilingi 400, you're just about to get washed. If the deal is too good, then think twice. Number 2, before you click on any link at wanapeana nini? Ati nini Naivas inapeana, that company inapeana
share to 10 contacts.
10 contacts. Like, look at the link. Most of the time, the HTTPS inakwaga HTTPS pale, HTTPS
Yes.
hypertext link hiyo. Ukiangalia ina miss hiyo S, know that you are not on a secure link most of the time. So be very, very aware of such things. Hawa watu wa kuuza vitu status, this is what I say. Like Edu, wacha nisimwite jina si yake, Edwin Matasio earlier on said, if you are buying anything, or if he's buying anything, for him, first he's seeing what he's buying. The so-called online shopping is not for him. Unfortunately, trends are changing. We are embracing the e-commerce. We are embracing...
Tama hiyo vitu.
Wanjiko, kuja uchukue mtu wenyu. We are embracing... Matamchi. Any kazi ya Winnie Mugambi. When we are embracing the new way of doing business and doing commerce, and we cannot escape from the reality that we need to do business with the new digital space. But make sure you do not expose yourself to risks, especially kama kuna too much enticement attached to this thing you want to buy. Do you know the Kenyan way of buying and bargaining? If you go to a shop, they tell you, hii kitu ni 500. Wanasema, hapana mzee, hii kitu ni 300. Sema, tukishuka sana ni 490. Asema, hapana muhindi, wacha kujifanya, mimi nimeenda shule. Hii kitu haipiti 300. Hata nimekusaidia sana, nimekupea 350. Akikatalia hapo 490, what do you do? You walk away. When you walk away, what do they do? Asipokuita kitu ni legit.
Ni legit.
Akikuita,
akwambia, kwani unaenda tu haraka hivi, hiki tunaweza kuja tuongee. Wewe ulikuwa na ngapi?
There is something I need to tell you guys. You know, these simple earphones we use, headsets. I know, like, there's a brand that people like, you know, with phones that have apples that people ate. Here, when you buy that kind of headsets from the shop, you have a warranty for 1 year. Zikiharibika unaenda unapewa ingine mpya. Hakuna maswali. Kenya ndakwambia hii kitu ni original. But it does not have a warranty.
And chances are, unaweza kuja kesho hiyo shop ulinunua, hata ulinunua electronic, kesho inauza nguo.
What are the lessons we are trying to get from this? I think the biggest lesson I've learned today is you cannot escape the trap, but you can be too careful. Because however much you are vigilant, these things are bound to happen. But the most important thing you have to do to yourself and others is make sure when trading, you are trading carefully, because there are always people ready to pounce on the opportunity to steal from you. Godi, maliza story to end.
Exactly. So, one thing I want to commend Kenyans is these guys are industrious and they're geniuses. It's only that we divert the energy towards the negative use of it, But it's because the system doesn't create the environment where people can employ their thinking and their good skills, So when the structures are not there and someone can think, they end up using the same brain to do something that is illegal, that apparently affects now we the same citizens and not the people who are supposed to put in the structures. Yeah. So it's just the government to help put in. And you see, with the evolvement of technology, it calls for evolution of laws, because technology is changing day in, day out, and people take advantage of those loopholes before the laws are put in place. That's the period when people take advantage to con other people. Because if you look at it now, the online space is not well regulated per se. And that's why people are taking advantage of it. So by the time we're getting laws that govern the same, people will have thought about something else. So as you said, it's just for us to take utmost care. Being caught is not a crime, and see you in Mjinga. These people are also clever, and they know how you think, because they're facing the same problem you're facing. So they first understand what the problem you have, and they come with another thing purporting to be giving you a solution. You understand? And because they know you're desperately in need of that thing, you'll fall for it. So pia maombi itatusaidia.
Njoo fanyiwe maombi. Special shout out to Princess Ola. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Zena Hussein, all the way in Saudi Arabia. We have Matasio Kagwa in the Netherlands. We have, of course, Wanjiku Kagwi, anasema yeye ni born Nairobi, lakini alifanyiwa ile kitu na Hawkers. Karibu sana, and always a pleasure having you here. Let's see who else is here. Edwin Matasio, without forgetting Winnie Mugambi and Idel Kweyu, Sina Buyema, shout outs to you. And to all our new subscribers, mazee, nyinyi ni wase wa nguvu sana. Keep inviting your friends and family. Share this link even after, and let the conversations continue, because it is the home of authentic conversation. See you on Tuesday as we bring you the Tuesday. Hey, Wanjiku. See you on Tuesday as we bring you the Tuesday edition of The Perspective from 9:30 p.m. East African time, and we will be there discussing. Mtaka kujua nini tunaongelea? Nitawaambia mkikuja Tuesday. Or keep tabs with our social handles. That is The Arts in Heart Official on Facebook and YouTube. The Arts in Heart Official. We are The Arts in Heart on Instagram, and huyu ni Godwin Segero on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. Remember to follow TikTok handle @Likuyani Eli. Till next time, see you when you see us. I leave you with one and only Ngolomas with Uhimidiwe, in case you missed out on the Easter edition. Good night, na tumeenda.
Adios.
Umenisafisha, ukanizingira dhidi ya dhoruba, nafsi na kuamrisha, inuka umpe sifa, uhimidiwe, uhimidiwe, uhimidiwe. Uhimidiwe, 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 uhimidiwe. Oh, anayetukomboa, yatuponya magonjwa, tuvika wema nazo huruma, nanyi na wakaribisha, inukeni tumpe sifa. Uhimidiwe, 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 uhimidiwe. Yesu we uhimidiwe, uhimidiwe. Oh, uhimidiwe, uhimidiwe, uhimidiwe. Oh, uhimidiwe, 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 uhimidiwe. Nafsi yangu na kuamrisha sasa, usisahau alokutendea, alikukinga, amekuokoa, kuna budi ila kumuimbia. Nafsi yangu na kuamrisha sasa,